Welcome all to Scenics Off the Sound here in Tukwila, Washington. We're at match week 19. The MLS Next Pro season has momentum towards its deciding phase. Tacoma Defiance and Real Monarchs oblige the fight tonight in one of the American Games heritage venues. Two of the most explosive, expressive outfits in the division squaring off at Starfire. Howdy, folks. I'm Peyton Gallagher. And Real Monarchs and Tacoma Defiance as they try and in MLS Next Pro, the only two yet to post a clean sheet in 2025. Goals all but guaranteed, and here is how Hervé Diaz will try to pursue that objective. The 4-2-3-1 has been a hallmark this year. Osaze De Rosario and Usanome, that gruesome twosome in the middle, reunited after several games in which those two have not started together. Usanome with 10 goals on the season, having scored last time out against the Town FC. It will be an opposition today in Real Monarchs FC that like to play with the ball. We'll see how Tacoma go about trying to obtain possession throughout the course of the contest, whether they sit in and try and play the counter or press the imperative for Real Monarchs. And Mark Lowry, you will see a shuffled team and plenty of new faces in the squad here today for the side from Utah, namely Tommy Silva stepping in off the left back spot in that 4-2-3-1 that will be highly rotational. We can expect Owen Anderson to float in off the right side and try and partner Aiden Hezrakani, always dangerous as that tight space magician. On the right wing, it will be up top Chase Duke leading the line today to try and provide that offensive punch for a side that's been as possession-oriented as anybody. We step out to live pictures now in Washington. It's Real Monarchs and Tacoma Defiance live now. And so it goes. Real Monarchs step into this venue that has not treated them well down the years in search of all 3 points, having lost their last 2. They need to get back right as they find themselves below the playoff line. Tacoma Defiance, just an overwhelming offensive side in so many instances this year. A wild 4-4 thriller last time out against the Town FC that saw multiple goals in stoppage time before Tacoma would ultimately outlast their opposition in the shootout, connecting all 5 times from the spot. It would be Usanome who drove the final nail in. It's another stiff challenger that steps toe-to-toe today in the form of Real Monarchs. These sides have seen each other plenty down the years, whether it's at this level of competition in MLS Next Pro or previous at the USL Championship level. One of the most played fixtures between two opponents that exists in MLS Next Pro. Mark Lowry and Hervé Diaz are common and friendly foes, if you will, as well. Acquaintances that respect each other much. The two managers both spoke on how they were excited for the chess match that might unfold here on the field at Starfire today. Once more, these are the two sides in MLS Next Pro, the only two sides that have failed to get a clean sheet this year. As we are beyond the midway point of this season, that was primary objective number 1 for Tacoma. Coming into today, manage the game defensively and see if you can't finally hold an opponent scoreless for a full 90 minutes in 2025. Up and running in the Pacific Northwest, Peyton Gallagher here to take you across the breadth and width of whatever comes in the next 90 minutes and then some. The side from Salt Lake will start in their possessional play straight away. It is Kobe Henry, a notable entry into this team. Player that played with Orange County SC in the USL ranks and then was off to France. That move didn't stick, and now he's under duress straight away, trying to cut his teeth in this Monarchs side as the ball skids away from Usanome, who is creeping in. Will McKay, the goalkeeper today for Real Monarchs, puts an end to any threat. Pressure applied by the home side. Prior to these back-to-back losses for Real Monarchs, were on a good uptick of form, had gone unbeaten in 5 consecutive. Lost some penalty shootouts in that stretch, but ultimately playing with their heads held high. Mark Lowry, just in speaking about this good run from them prior to the pair of defeats, spoke about how they were given the autonomy, these players, to find themselves in the final third, as they do straight away. Maximus Jennings nailing one wide of the mark. Jacob Castro looked like he had it covered in goal. First real chance in a game that promises to have many. Trevion Souza. It's a bit of a rudderless ball into the center. Sonome doing his best to attach himself. And it's there for Real Monarchs and Kobe Henry. And it's beyond the reach of the captain, Giovanni Calderon. Expect a real tactical joust in the first 15 minutes as both sides try to set their respective tempos. In the early going, it looks like Real Monarchs content to sit in that mid-block, maintain that defensive structure. Peter Kingston coming off a pair of goals against the Town. Picks up the baton and starts the move between the center backs, the midfielder. Kingston. This time it's more of a straight to the point approach, and it's into the dugout. Tacoma in their home venue in the midst of a long run of home games, 4 out of the next 5, including today, between the 4 lines of their friendly confines. Trying to make the best of that advantage. This is not an easy place to come and play. It's a bit of a narrow pitch as well. Something that this Tacoma staff thought that they could maybe use to their advantage, compressing the space against a side that likes to use all of it in Real Monarchs. Omar Marquez playing wide. Kobe Henry with little contest, and now Maximus Jennings. Tacoma doing their best to set the traps on this near boundary, but out for a throw. Sent aloft towards Chase Duke. And they will do it again for another throw. Brought it out of play once more. It was Aiden Hezrakani, who so often is the attacking force at the heart of the best moments for Real Monarchs, who could not make anything of that. The march continues, though, for the roadside, and marching so into an offside position there. Owen Anderson. Mark Lowry, just in conversation ahead of this game, felt like they could get a little bit more out of Owen. Hasn't scored since the first game of the season. Player that contributed 5 goals in his age 16 season last year. Most of this campaign, he's shaded to that left-hand side while playing that central number 10 role. Today, you can expect him to be in his more natural right-favoring positions. Picking up the ball, a very direct player. As for now, it's Osase de Rosario unable to pick the lock. Swiftly away, Hezrakani, and still running, it's Aiden Hezrakani. Dangerous ideas in his mind, cutting in on the left. Into the middle, Marquez and Jennings. Unable to connect the dots. Real Monarchs out for a Tacoma Defiance throw. Tacoma, just to illustrate the offensive punch that they offer so far this year when their opponent does not score multiple goals. Tacoma are unbeaten with a mark of 7 wins, 1 draw, no losses. They also won that shootout. Just some evidence to the fact that if they can tidy up some of the defensive aspects, this is a real contestant this year. There's just such a confidence in talking to Hervé Diaz about his bunch. They know that when they step to the field, they will score goals. It's just a matter of whether or not they can prevent their opponent from scoring more. I suppose that in its simplest form, that's always the case, though. That's dogged work to obtain possession from Owen Anderson. Darted upfield, it gets away in the mid-park. Chase Duke chasing it down, and Marquez and Jennings. You'll see this often from Real Monarchs. They'll play in a 4-2-3-1 on paper, but as the ball is bounded back to Jacob Castro to touch, oftentimes they will build from a back three. One of the fullbacks will run up and join up in the attack with 3 players at the rear guard to try and stabilize that first phase of attacking play. Seeing something similar from Tacoma Defiance, but they'll drop in one of the midfielders between the center backs to get that 3-man surface. Peter Kingston. Souza. It's a heavy first touch. It gets away from Hezrakani. The first direction of play is backward from Omar Marquez. There's always a certain patience in a Mark Lowry side in possession. This is how they exercise their control, Real Monarchs. A line-splitting ball that's sniffed out and foul given. It was Cody Baker who shot up from that second level to step in. Felix Grandos is the center official today, and that's his first real decision. Real Monarchs committing the second most fouls per game in the league this year at just under 16 per. That's hooked out for a throw. They've also had 3 red cards this year, which is the second most in MLS NEXT Pro. Just something to track as we move through the night. Souza. Jumping on top of it, Real Monarchs. Unable to make it stick. Souza. Space on the far flank. Usanome, a heat-seeking ball in behind. Osase de Rosario laid off. It just skips away. A moment of blinding quality from Usanome. showing his ability to just completely expand a game in one instant. And it's back with the home team. Searching ball in behind. Sebastian Gomez unable to arrive. And it's a throw-in for Real Monarchs. Neither side have been able to manufacture that first real chance of significance, if you will. Had that early missed shot just inside the box from Maximus Jennings. Beyond that, nothing to write home about. 10 minutes through. Yamada. Bit of counter pressure to regain possession. Snyder Brunel slicing, dicing in for Osase de Rosario, but up to it is McKay. Osase de Rosario so accustomed to finding the back of the net. Unfortunately for him, he found the back of the wrong one last game against the Town. Had the own goal. And he is hot and ready to get involved straight away. In this instance, a little bit too excited. This foul is awarded. A chance to look back at how Snyder Brunel nearly cut the whole thing apart. Osase de Rosario needed just a little bit more real estate to cause some real havoc. Souza twists away. That's a lovely ball. It's Peter Kingston infield. Osase de Rosario waiting. And it's sent skidding out for a corner kick. It was a much-needed intervention. As you could see, Osase de Rosario looking for the soft spot. Nonetheless, Tacoma, always a lethal operator from a dead ball. Within swing. Snapped away. Man down at the edge of the area. Kingston back in. Now play is stopped. The flag popped up on the far flank. That is the case. Jordan Price, Eric Kruger, the ones running the lines today. Christopher Calderon is the fourth official. He will work the board. Bit of a risky ball, but it alleviates some of the attention. Well spotted, in fact, to Maximus Jennings. Kobe Henry. Luka Moisa back to his goalkeeper. And this is never going to be a moment in which you will hurry the tempo of Real Monarchs. Almost relishing the opportunity to play through the tight space, knowing that if they can find a way to excavate from their own end, there will be plenty of opportunity across midfield. They win another throw. Kobe Henry, room to roam. Pretty pattern, the triangle. Nothing more than a moment of entertainment from Real Monarchs. Yamada, so often he is the point man in this first phase of build-up play for Tacoma. Looped into the center circle, Osase de Rosario, unable to tame. And cool in the face of pressure, Real Monarchs. More specifically, Giovanni Calderon, who plays back to McKay. Just inviting wave after wave, Real Monarchs. Kobe Henry linking up in the mid-park with Luka Moisa. Hezrakani with space. Tacoma rushing numbers back towards their own box. The cross comes, hit towards goal. It's just wiggled away. Kept by Jennings though. Moisa in the middle. Marquez. Never to be sped up. Monarchs. Luka Moisa on the 1-2. Thoughts of a cross. Slipped in. Marquez. Kobe Henry. Hezrakani. Ball Velcro to him. Hezrakani. Curls high. Goal kick. For the best moment for Real Monarchs in the game today. As you see exactly how long they can lull an opponent to sleep. That sequence of play taking up multiple minutes before Hezrakani was unable to meet the mark. Kingston. Tacoma navigating towards the attacking ends. Souza. Knock and thrust of the first engagements of match week 19 and MLS Next Pro. Happy to have you with us here in Washington. Still scoreless between Tacoma and Real Monarchs. Chase Duke, he is crushed by the tackle. Foul is given. This portion of the match is brought to you by your locally owned and operated McDonald's. Download the McDonald's app today. When the Sounders win, you will win a free McChicken the following day with minimum $2 purchase, only in the app. The Golden Arches beckon. Kingston, bit of a blind ball in behind. Yamada has taken a risk trying to field that. Well covered by his center back partner and striking out on his own. Damian Alvarez, now he's lost custody. A shift of shape for the time being from Tacoma as Alvarez retreats towards his own end. Always like to indulge the adventurous side of a center back as you saw Alvarez try to take it into his own hands. Real fight for it on the far side. And still somehow coming, Real Monarchs. It's left behind. Owen Anderson has not had much access to the game to date. That's a clever pass, an even better touch. Usanome paving in a pass to De Rosario. Kobe Henry kept his wits and covered it. Usanome, though, showman-like stuff to take the ball, just stabbing it out of the air. That is silly skill. Left on the laces. And the ball takes a nap on the pillowy touch from Usanome. And it has yielded a corner kick for Tacoma. Bodies up towards the box. Alvarez, a late arriver. Appears to be hit without swing here. Just a shot across the bow and will slide out of touch for a throw. It wasn't the worst delivery. Osase De Rosario just missing out with all of that 6'2" frame. 8 goals for him on the year. Souza. It's Tacoma's turn to carry the game. A good spell of play from them as Souza tries to punctuate. And punching in for a tackle is Maximus Jennings. A sudden bit of barraging, though, from Tacoma Defiance as they prep for another corner. Looks like it belongs to Peter Kingston. taking up over 50 corners now in the year, Kingston. One more. A real breakout. Might be emerging from Real Monarchs, but it's been hit off the back heel. Moisa ran into his own teammate, but the ruling is that Real Monarchs will have a free kick here. I think it's possible and maybe hit a hands. Nonetheless, any imagination for a counter quickly goes out the window. Okay. Moisa pushes into a pocket of space. Owen Anderson now. Cavalry coming for Real Monarchs. Poking at all the uncomfortable places for Tacoma Defiance. Just kept out ahead of the end line. It will be a throw. Real Monarchs moving back to front with some conviction. Halfway gone in this first half of play in Washington. And that's just a little bit careless. Looks like it was Owen Anderson who found himself leaking beyond the line of the last man. Spun into Yamada, who has runway. Everything in 2 touches for Kato Yamada. Fortunately for Tacoma, that's not a similar case for Travian Souza, as he's lost the ball. Both sides yet to conjure a single shot on target. We led the broadcast by telling you these were the 2 teams in the league, the only 2 that had failed to keep a clean sheet to date this year. Now, in the case of Real Monarchs, and you would get this assessment from Mark Lowry, the numbers don't really support a frail defensive outfit. Just about middle of the pack this year in terms of goals conceded. 15th coming into today. They've all just been kind of spread out. Glitches in focus, and for a young team, it can be expected. Now, Monarchs just trying to find that consistency that is oftentimes the most valuable thing you can have at any level of the game as a young player, but specifically in MLS Next Pro. They'll have to play mistake-free ball as they build out from this corner. Tacoma a real chance to get some bodies where the ball is located. That works out quite nicely for Real Monarchs. Lowry, who just picked up his 100th career win. Somebody who has universal respect from the managers in this league. A real thinker. Coach that understands that it's more than the principles, it's about the why for young players. Big hand in the development of Diego Luna at El Paso Locomotive, now doing his thing on the international stage for the men's national team. This portion of the match is brought to you by Providence Swedish, official healthcare partner of the Seattle Sounders. Just rounding back in on Diego Luna, something this coaching staff believes is a real bit of actual case in point, where they can show Diego as a success story within the Real Salt Lake setup and communicate to the young players in this team that that could be them if they do the right things. Escape hatch in the form of Maximus Jennings. Off the back heel, bit of invention from Hezrakani. Now Marquez shuffling away from his marker and into Maximus Jennings. There has been a hesitance in the play for Real Monarchs so far. That is anything but, though. A slice of skill that amounts to nothing more. Inspecting ball in behind Osase de Rosario. Never going to get the better of Kobe Henry, who's taken his opportunity so far in his second consecutive start with the second team. The objective for Kobe, just to get him some minutes. Been on the outskirts of the first team this year. First season back stateside after his time in France. Chance for him to actually play. A player that's of a high intellect, can think the game at an extremely high level, but that can be a negative aspect at times for him if he's not playing. Almost, in the words of his manager, can get into his own head, so it's a big chance for him to get out onto the field and maybe exercise himself a bit. Sousa was interfered with. The referee is going to make himself loudly heard. Kingston. Nearly a half hour played here in Tukwila. Into the box. It does not get beyond the outstretched leg of the defender. Marquez, something to do here. Nearly undone. But it may work out for Real Monarchs. On the break now. Taking it in on the far side. Foul is given. Working through the ebb and the flow. Every time it feels like something might be emerging in this game, there's that half moment of indecision or that poor touch that takes it off its path. Who's going to be the one to throw the first real punch? These teams have played already once this year. The Monarchs, one's victorious on that day, but both managers are quick to say that Tacoma did not have their first choice squad out there. That certainly influenced the flow of the game. All time in the series, it is Tacoma that have had maybe the better of it. It's been played now this game 11 times. Tacoma have tasted victory on 6 occasions. Then it's just in the confines of the Next Pro action now. If you want to go back even further, the two teams have been engaged 21 separate times. Having played each other plenty of occasions dating back to 2016 in the USL. Second ball is won by Tacoma. Into the center with some space for Gomez. Now Sousa. Sousa can't wriggle free. Maximus Jennings will do one better to get clear and out for a throw. And it's a yellow card for a prior infraction. Looks like they're going to get Giovanni Calderon. And just stepping on the top of the foot. No real question there. Advantage played, rightly done by the official. And it will be a throw-in. Confirmation, it will be Giovanni Calderon who sees his name scribbled.
Referee issued a yellow card to visiting Real Monarchs player number 55, Giovanni Calderon.
Into the center. Had to think on it. And the ball will find the mitts of the goalkeeper, Sebastian Gomez. Once more, pausing in the pivotal moment. Let the ball run and allow the defender to have a word. That lands with a thud. There's a collision as both sides come to grips trying to win it. Play has been stopped at the 30-minute mark. Looks like it will be a hydration break. We are in the height of the heat here in the summer months. All the way through July, if you can believe it. As MLS Next Pro season dancing along, starting to take its final form, both these sides bobbing about the playoff line. Tacoma, 6 victories, 2 draws, 6 losses. Had that blistering start. Fell off the pace a little bit, trying to get back to the good foot. Consecutive games with results, having taken the shootout victory against the Town. The highlights to this point in the game, there's not much to report. Spoke about how they were given the autonomy, these players, to find themselves in the final third as they do straight away. Souza twists away. That's a lovely ball. It's Peter Kingston infield. Osaze de Rosario. Here's Aiden Hezrakani. Later on in the game, as he bashed this one high, was not shy to shoot. Osaze de Rosario is the one who created the only other chance of real note from Tacoma Defiance, as this one would just wander away from the grasp of Sebastian Gomez. And 32 minutes in, clock running. These sides have yet to find a point of difference or really any real chances created. Tacoma Defiance and Real Monarchs. Monarchs with 2 victories and 2 draws in their prior 6 road matches. This has been a hard venue for anybody to claim a result this year. Tacoma taking extra points in 7 of the 9 that they have played, winning outright in 5. Also had that notable run in the U.S. Open Cup. They really took the slingshot and drew back, gave the best shot to the Goliath of Portland Timbers. Had the lead late, just could not maintain their grip against the MLS opposition. Back in play. Yamada. Alvarez and Yamada again. You see Real Monarchs putting up a fence around those 2 central midfielders. Brunel and Peter Kingston forcing Tacoma wide. Kingston does get a hold. Shows off the fleetness of foot. Now he gets to start laying down the beat in the mid-park. Poked ahead by Brunel. It's a throw-in for Tacoma. It has been the kind of tactical battle that both managers foreshadowed coming into the game. Either side has been able to establish a real foothold. Hezrakani unable to snake away. Souza's free. Evaluates the targets in the box. Osaze de Rosario a little bit late to it. Brunel and stabbed back. Owen Anderson breaking out on the counter, using that big frame. Jace Duke is upended, but it's a fair tackle. And Yamada pushing forward. Osaze de Rosario. Just an encroaching run that never really amounted to much, and it's a set piece to come, a free kick. A time to tell you that this portion of the match is brought to you by the Puyallup tribe of Indians, a tribe known for being generous and welcoming to all people. It's Yamada trying to welcome the attacking opportunity as Tacoma take hold again. Defiance with growing influence over the last 5 to 10 minutes. Yamada. Peter Kingston. Connecting with Alvarez. Kingston again. Almost taunting the pressing players. Now Tacoma. Locate where the space is. Stretched away from Omar Marquez. Tacoma on approach. Skipping through the first tackle into the center. Kobe Henry once more is there to meet it. He has been the fire extinguisher at the back, just suffocating any real moments in which Tacoma looked to be finding that attacking momentum. Not seen much from Usanome or Osase de Rosario. Kobe Henry not taking any chances with the header. Slashed away by Tommy Silva. Goalkeeper is requested. Jacob Castro. Brunel. Yamada. Down the line it flows. Sebastian Gomez. He is once more snuffed out by Omar Marquez, who's been touching every blade of grass so far in this game. Marquez again. Twist away from the pressure. It's turned off him. Gomez. Gliding into the box. Still Gomez. His effort on goal is blocked out, and it will be a corner. Some defensive endurance requested of Real Monarchs. The threat once more is posed by Tacoma. Delivered with outswing on this occasion. Sousa dropping back for a touch. Striking out. Rushing towards the area. An upending tackle. It was Omar Hassan, who was unable to break away, and he's now committed the foul. Brunel just that one touch letting him down a bit. And I'm not really quite sure how you could give the foul against him. Omar Hassan rushing away, left the ball behind him, and then just got run through. That's clean work on the ball. Anderson trying to spread wide. He's interfered with. Advantage is played. Maximus Jennings. Just stepping right on the ball was Hezrakani and stayed in. Marquez will escort it out of touch. Back in for Castro. Pressure applied. Down by Chase Duke, who sees Hezrakani. Speeding into Marquez. Kobe Henry at the controls. Calderon. Down towards the corner, looking to get byline. Foul is given as Sonome went to ground. Seen Sonome in a wider deployment so far today. We've seen him in central spaces in many moments this year. The staff keenly aware of his caliber and potential. 10 goals this year, came off the bench last game against the Town. A decision that was influenced mainly by just managing the minutes, trying to make sure he's fresh in the moments that count down the stretch. He has had a loose involvement so far today. Risky business at the back, and one high in the box. Owen Anderson unable to win the foot race ahead of Yamada. It's just a goal kick. Or maybe that's not the final decision. It appears the ball has been left behind for a corner. Saw Jacob Castro run over and grab the spare ball behind the goal. Maybe it was just a bit of magical thinking from him. Tacoma Defiance, for the first time in what feels like forever, have to endure some threat. Can something wake this game up just ahead of halftime? With in swing, with lift in. With the safety of the gloves of Jacob Castro, the end to the move, and Osaze De Rosario hops on the horse. There's horsepower, De Rosario sliding by 1-2, and now Sonome, his pass is blocked, able to retain. Spotted centrally, Snyder Brunel. Leaning one in, Gomez onto the right, it's blocked. Sebastian Gomez, that whittling touch inside, the defender there every step of the way. Gomez can be such a bright soloist cutting in. Always a feisty player that's up for the fight, ready to run at anybody. Maybe case in point, he went in for 26 duels in the last game. That being against the Town FC. For a lot of attacking players, you might say 10 to 15 would be a good return. An indication that that player is putting in effort trying to chase it. Souza. Yamada. Every touch calculated from him. It's grabbed back by Marquez, though. It's a risky giveaway. It could be real trouble. It's just left behind Snyder Brunel. Into the center, it gets away from Sonome. A lapse in focus from Real Monarchs goes unpunished just ahead of the half. Bounding towards the attacking ends. Owen Anderson now, escaping the center circle. Hezrakani has it in tow on the 1-2. Anderson back in. It's blocked. Anderson trying to reaffix himself. Tacoma clears the lines. Things starting to open up as we approach stoppage time. Waiting on the official tabulation. Gomez, it looked like, took a whack to the face. The referee looked for advantage to emerge and never did. And it's 2 minutes of stoppage time.
2 minutes of added time. 2 minutes.
It feels like the match is starting to find a little bit of its spark as we bend the final turn in half number 1 here in Washington. Peter Kingston prepares the free kick. See what strategy might be employed here from Tacoma. Bit of clever quick play. Souza slashing in a cross that's sprinkled Out for a corner kick to come. Kingston retrieving the ball. And Souza got it onto that strong left foot. Flashed one in. It was a venomous ball. This one might be as well. In by Kingston. Over the head of the goalkeeper. And rolled in. It is a stabbing strike just ahead of the half. And it is provided by Kaito Yamada. Stick and twist and 1-0. Tacoma take themselves ahead. They had generated nothing, but with such a well-shaped ball, Kaito Yamada able to just will himself into a position to wield that extra bit of quality at the end. The goalkeeper undone as McKay came for it. And it is the worst nightmare of any goalkeeper to see the ball travel over their head like that. Left at the mercy of the merciless Kaito Yamada. Changes the game ahead of halftime and makes it 1-0. And a single bounce of the ball, the complexion altered as we hit the half, and once more our score sits 1-0 in this one between Tacoma and Real Monarchs. MLS All-Star Week is here. So is Goalie Wars. Let's see the work that goes into making the championship belt and revisit last year's competition.
In my head, just score this and you win the belt. So I took a deep breath, focused on my accuracy, and yes, Isaac Walker, the new champion. How about this? How about this? How about this? Come on now.
So I got into championship belts when I was a kid. I was a big wrestling fan in the 80s, and I used to love watching the championship belts on TV. And I used to draw them on paper. My name is Andrew Lazarchik, and I am the owner of Wildcat Championship Belts. In 2005, I officially started Wildcat Championship Belts, where we started making authentic title belts. I would make wrestling title belts for small wrestling promotions, or anybody else that really needed an award. In 2007 was when we got our first big break, when Nathan's Famous Hot Dogs called us, and they needed a title belt for their hot dog eating competition, and they needed it quickly. So we agreed to do that, got it done very quickly, and we've made that title belt every year since 2007. We started working with WWE at that time too, and we started making some of the belts for WWE in 2007. It's grown. We make belts for anybody that needs a unique award. That's how we kind of grew the business into what it is today. When I started Wildcat Championship Belts, it was a part-time gig for 15 years. I'm not an overnight success. It was a lot of work. You know, you talk about your 10,000 hours of practice. You know, I've had my 10,000 hours of practice.
Last year's Goalie Wars belt was designed by Wildcat Championship Belts and was a big hit with fans and players alike. This year's belt has been modified with new changes that catch the eye.
The idea behind the belt is it almost has arrows on it, kind of graphically interpreting kicking the ball as hard as you can into the goal. So that was kind of the first concept we came up with, and then we tweaked it to get it to where it is now. This year we use the arrow branding that MLS NEXT Pro uses as the side plates, as well as the location. This year it's Columbus, Ohio.
MLS NEXT Pro and Wildcat Championship Belts have collaborated to bring another world-class belt to life with an in-depth process.
Whenever we make our title belts, everything's custom made by hand. It has to be drawn out, cut out, tooled individually by hand. Each little, mark in the leather is a hand-tooled stamp. As far as the plates go, that's all custom designed from scratch. It's not mass-produced, gold-plated, nickel-plated in the MLS NEXT Pro case. They're then painted by hand right here in our workshop. We paint them by hand. And then assemble it here, assemble the plates onto the leather, glue the backing on, and we have a finished product.
With this year's belt, there's a focus on graphical elements that make the belt unique.
We knew that we wanted to somehow graphically interpret the soccer game as part of the design, but there's a tangible element of soccer that we kind of were able to graphically interpret. So we try to do that with branding or with something as literal as soccer or fantasy football, that kind of thing. We have to mesh that with the classic idea of what a championship belt is to look like.
It takes thousands of hours to become a champion, which is why Andrew's motto is no days off. It's a motto that recipients of his belt can relate to.
The coolest part about having these belts go to winners and champions is knowing that they earned it. Last year when Isaac Walker earned that title belt, he'd throw the belt over his shoulder and he was very proud because he was a champion and he earned it. That's the coolest thing, to be able to help people that they've done the work, they've done the hard work to become a champion, but until you have that title belt strapped around your waist or over your shoulder, that's when you're really a champion. If you do the hard work, you put the time in, you put the effort in, you can become a champion, and we can help you do that.
Andrew's dedication to his craft comes through in all of his work. He's determined to share that passion with the next generation as well.
If I can, share that passion with others by helping them become a champion, whether it's with a title belt or with our Little Champs program that we started, where every year we donate a portion of the proceeds, portion of the profits to Toys for Tots. And we've donated over 1,500 toy championship belts to kids since we started doing this. Now we're donating funds to our local school district to help the school district with buying things for the classroom. And those kids will eventually have a passion of their own, and hopefully whatever funding that we can help with will grow their passion to what they want to do with a career. So it's more than just making title belts and making a living. It's really following your passion.
Let's go. Here comes Jean-Antoine, goalkeeper for Chattanooga FC. It's great to have Jean out here. He's from Haiti. He's 30 years of age, and his opponent tonight, Chitaru Odonze of Crown Legacy. Remember, Crown Legacy, victorious last season. And here we go. The first effort is missed. Mo, how costly could that be here early?
It could be everything. You get the first look, you got to find the back of the net. Set the tone.
Here's Chitaru now with his shot. Oh, saved over the bar. Little bit of urgency we're seeing now from Jean-Antoine with the throw this time, blazing over.
I'm not sure. I'm going with a throw on this, Mo. I'm going ball drop kicking from my feet. You get more power, no?
I like the techers, yeah. I like a little drop kick, get a little, oh, that was it there. I thought that was it there.
I don't think we're going to get 0-0. We got just under a minute, though. These guys got to score.
There's a little bit of nerve setting in. They're just trying to get those kinks out. Here we go.
Oh, what a save. Excellent save there. Good effort from Chitaru Odonze. The man from Raleigh, North Carolina, now with his strike. Oh, what a save again.
Back to back.
Such a tense opening match.
I like what Odonze's doing right now. He's slowing it down, managing the moments right now.
Odonze, oh, what a save.
You know the momentum shift. Here we go. Oh, good save.
These two goalkeepers canceling each other out. 25 seconds to go, fellas. Oh, it's a great throw off the upright. Would you believe it? So close. 16 seconds.
It might just take one.
Starting to set in, though. You can see both of these guys.
It might just take one is right, blazing wide. And now an opportunity for Jean-Antoine to win it. He's got 6 seconds. He's got to hurry up. 3 seconds. He's got to take it to win it. Off the woodwork. A sensational start. 0-0 the score. And Jean-Antoine and Chitaru Odonze go again.
What just happened?
Chitaru Odonze didn't start with the ball the first time. He gets to go now. He gets the advantage. Jean-Antoine had the advantage to start Goalie Wars, but now we're in overtime. They get one go each if still level. Then we head to sudden death. Next penalty score, the winner. Here we go. Odonze! It's a beauty! It's a beauty for Crown Legacy. If he misses, it's over, and that is it. Congratulations, Chitaru Odonze is headed to the Goalie Wars final. excellent effort, Mo, from both of these competitors.
I mean, that was amazing.
Maybe one of these competitors will be back next year doing interviews like Isaac Walker. Here for the next round, the semifinal of Goalie Wars, Michael Kalodi representing North Texas.
Oh, there we go.
And of course,
Already
we've got
off the
Stas
get-go.
Lapkus. Stas Lapkus!
Ooh, what is going on here?
Great response there from Lapkus. Oh!
Okay, whoa, whoa, whoa.
You don't
3
go
for
those.
3. These guys are
thought he
bringing
had
it, but that is a miss. Lapkus with the miss this time. 18 years of age from Belarus.
Oh, wow.
Michael.
What is going on here?
Michael Kaladi, he's out here showing out right now.
Yeah, Kalodi, top class. The 23-year-old is absolutely brilliant, but here's a response from Stas Lapkus. His dad is a 5-time Olympian, 4-time fencer and a coach there as well. Athletic ability is there for all to see. Lapkus has got to get back in this game, though, as he blazes over, Mo.
That was the moment. Kaladi's done really well. Now he can just manage this. Just manage this a little bit.
Oh,
There's no reason to rush.
Are you managing it? I'm going for glory here. I'm putting as many balls into the back of the net. If I am hot, I am hot.
Yeah, but
And as
hey,
soon as you
there's less
pull
than
up-
30 seconds on it, guys.
Exactly.
There's a 2-goal
That's not
difference
a winner's
right now.
mentality, guys. Come on.
A winner's mentality is you win. You protect your lead.
And Stas Lapkus is with crew 2. He's on home
see?
turf here. He's the hometown boy.
Oh, he's a
it's
little bit
just
tired.
wide. Here we go. Kalodi has that 4-2 advantage, 10 seconds left, and he's winding
Yeah, see that?
down
You see
the
that?
clock.
Okay.
There's that management from the fella from North Texas, representing FC Dallas.
And I like that these two finalists, they won in different ways. Odunzi had to go into sudden death. Kalodi came out hot, set the tone early, and got the job done.
All right, folks, 6 seconds is what they have to get the ball away here and shoot. 3 steps with the ball in their hand. Here we go, the Goalie Wars Championship. For the Goalie Wars belt, you saw the WWE superstars, Sheamus and Sonya Deville on site with Isaac Walker, the winner
Give
last
him the
year.
eyes, Mo.
Again.
Brilliant finish that. Now from the hand this time, not far away from Kalodi.
Tell you what, Odunzi's he's got a huge frame.
Mo, what would it mean for Crown Legacy?
Back to back?
Charlotte FC to go back to back here tonight.
That'd be everything. You saw the way Isaac Walker walked out with that belt. My man is owning the moment.
That he is, and more. Lovely save from Chitaru Odunze. Lovely save yet again. So tense here. 40 seconds to play. The grand finale of Goalie Wars.
Great save. Kept it in play as well.
You know what my favorite thing about the Goalie Wars as well is all the players literally love it. You should see them all behind these little signs here. Everyone's so invested.
Oh, Bernardeschi may as well be kicking every ball. Blazing over here. And now this is when you see Odunze just take his time, Mo.
Yep, manage the moment. Oh, but he's got to find that second one.
He's not putting the game away here, and he's leaving an opportunity. But that's a brilliant save, and the question now is, will that be it for
Last
Michael
opportunity.
Kalodi?
Oh, quick, get a ball.
Get a ball for what?
He's taking
up
his
1-0.
time here. Chitaru Odunze has been crowned. That's it. He's done it. Congratulations, Chitaru Odunze, Goalie Wars champion here in 2024.
Ignition into the second half. The first half highlights from this game between Tacoma Defiance and Real Monarchs. Just got a great look at Goalie Wars. We did not see the goalies have to be much involved in the first 45 minutes of play. Peter Kingston, a little bit of a speculative ball across the bow, but blotted out at the near stick. This would be Aiden Hezrakani whittling into good shooting position before charging one high. Osase de Rosario not getting full purchase with a glancing header, and later on in the frame, Sebastian Gomez unable to wrangle one. This is just out of halftime. It is our only goal. It is Kaito Yamada breaking down the back door and sneaking in to make it 1-0 just inside the end of the first frame, as we look out to what is to come here between Real Monarchs and Tacoma Defiance. We told you, goals, they're good for them in this clash. So often there has been offense, and you see the stats. Maybe it was a lie. Only one shot on target. That is the one goal. 5 of them in total for Tacoma, who had the better run, it felt like, of the first frame of play. Real Monarchs, much to do. Mark Lowry certainly would have been at the drawing board trying to chart his course, his side's pathway back into the game as they look to try and push ahead of the 500 mark this year. Real Monarchs here in this one in hostile confines against Tacoma Defiance, a place where in league play Real Monarchs have only once ever gotten anything other than a loss. That was in fact the last time these two teams played here in Washington. A game in which Real Monarchs won the shootout after a draw after 90 minutes. Other than that, it has been rough sailing in this venue, having been outscored 15-1 all time. You can make it 16-1. You can make it the second half here as Tacoma start things up in the second 45. Peyton Gallagher once more with you. Kaito Yamada is the point of separation. Looks like Gallatin Sandness has come into the game for Tacoma. Trying to get a readout on any other alterations made by these two managers at the break. Damian Alvarez. Sprayed wide to Yamada, the goal scorer. Souza. Pinched back by Hezrakani. Omar Hassan, his day is the one that's done. Edson Carley, the one brought into the contest to replace him. 1 goal, 2 assists on the year, making his 9th appearance, and day done for Cody Baker.
Both teams made halftime substitutions. First, for Real Monarchs, leaving the match at the half was number 34, Luca.
It's Griffin Dillon that makes entry here as well.
Griffin Dillon.
All the hullabaloo out of the half as both sides try to reorient the new conditions of the game. It's Moisa that makes way. Luka Moisa, having scored in 2 of the last 3, can't keep that good form going here today. Shuffling in is Edson Carley. Peter Kingston. And Sandness. Tacoma picking up right where they left off. In the driver's seat. That's shoulder to shoulder. The 2 substitutions coming to grips straight away as Griffin Dillon puts the challenge in on Edson Carley. Interconnected build-up from Tacoma Defiance. Yamada. Souza. That takes a clip off the back heel, and Usanome will watch it ride out for a throw. See what kind of positions he picks up. It looks like Edson Carley will hug the touchline as that right-sided winger. Sonome might have a more central occupation now. Gallatin San Ness. Rolled ahead, Edson Carley. Quickly closed and quickly dispossessed. Thrust back to the goalkeeper, McKay, who's giving it right back. Sonome in space. Sonome flies one tall. And it's only a brief flicker of life in the attack as the counter-pressing action wins the ball high. Sonome tried to put the show on him by himself and shoots it over the frame. A risky ball in the middle. Referee does well to get out of the way. Carley entangled and fouled. Pretty clean first half. Did not see much of Felix Grandos. So I'm curious to see if the temperature turns up a bit as Real Monarchs grow more and more impatient down a goal. Snyder Brunel, a pass that could be piercing, popped away. Marquez picking it up on the 1-2. It was Kano Yamada with the cutout. Here's Gallatin San Ness, who's making his first appearance with Tacoma Defiance since the first play between these two this year. That 2-1 victory for Real Monarchs. Sonome. And spinning free and clear was Ryan Sandoval, first to foul. To this near side, McKay in a bit of a pickle after a heavy first touch at the end line. Sonome steps in. Marquez, and finally making some headway out of the back, Real Monarchs. Calderon hoists one into a dangerous area. It's intercepted. Sebastian Gomez getting free. He's crafty, he cuts one in for Souza, and scrambling in is McKay. How much more of this can Real Monarchs withstand? Tacoma have been far less than clinical in terms of chance creation, but already up a goal. It would be in some position of control if they can get another. Real Monarchs have rarely been out of their own half since the commencement of play in the second 45. Marquez. And now they go. Anderson. Kobe Henry plows one out of touch. That would be the moment in which the narrower confines of Starfire can maybe sneak up on a side that like to play with rhythm and tempo with the ball at feet in Real Monarchs. Kingston. Kano Yamada. Still no urgency in the step and stride of Real Monarchs down the goal. Kingston On free operating space between the center backs. Now Alvarez. Souza. Straps a pass into the center. Osase de Rosario down. Fortunately, taken off his footing as the ball arrived in his custody, and he was offside anyway. Snipped out. Sonome won't get a chance, but first a foul. This could be a dangerous spot for a set-piece delivery. Just enough of an avenue to hook one into the box beyond the reach of the goalkeeper. A lot of ground to cover for Will McKay if he does come for anything. Real Monarchs setting a high line. Be a bit of a double-edged sword. You do afford a lot of space for the opponent to run into. Tacoma will line up with a couple players beyond that line intentionally to try and psych out the defense of Real Monarchs. Disorganize things at the moment the ball is hit. Kingston can hit it with in swing. Instead, it will be dropped in. And the delivery off the foot of Edson Carley needed a little bit more fine-tuning. Ten minutes into half number 2. Real Monarchs failing to find the pulse. Chase back towards McKay. Kobe Henry fancies his chances and wins a goal kick. Sounders FC is proud to partner with Regents Blue Shield, a health plan powering Washington's health and wellness for more than 100 years. That's a long time. Plenty of health and wellness to go around as Tacoma have grown the advantage, sitting at 1-0. Real Monarchs trying to do something about that. Able to get out of the blocks in this instance, though. And it's owned by Jacob Castro, who's had about as much to do in this game as any of the lookers on, the spectators. No, Monarchs have yet to put a shot on target. Snyder Brunel. It's a bit sloppy out of the back. A chopping challenge to reclaim possession for Real Monarchs. They've had so little of the ball today. Entered this game second in the league in terms of per game possession at just over 55%. Now they must dig in, though. Snyder Brunel, Osase de Rosario is waiting in the gap. Kingston picking up the pieces. Threaded forward, Kingston cutting in early. Able to evade the danger, Real Monarchs. And it stays on. Griffin Dillon escapes from his own end. Nearly a beautiful ball from Marquez, but outwitted by the tackle of Gallatin Sandnes. Have to applaud the run from Brian Sandoval. Yamada, a rare giveaway from him. And when Anderson unable to retain, looks like Mark Lowry is going to look to his dugout to change things. Seeing some white shirts being dressed and ready. Souza gets away from one. Advantage played. Souza's cross is just a flying kite over the frame. That ball shellacked over the target. And it opens the window potentially for those substitutions to be made. Oh, Kingston engineering. Down to the byline and stepped away at the first barricade. Sebastian Gomez was the one posing the threat, as he does again, hot on the heels of the ball. One by Tacoma, then one by Marquez. Omar Marquez flying one forward. Sandoval lifting it ahead for Owen Anderson. Rather that actually an oncoming runner in the form of Tommy Silva. But there's nothing at the end of that rainbow for Real Monarchs. And that is tidy. Usanome sticks it wide of the on-rushing Edson Carley. Most substitutes still aren't ready for Real Salt Lake. Real Monarchs, I should say. Losing out with the ball is Griffin Dillon. Sebastian Gomez in the thick of it. Now Peter Kingston taking aim. Well, he had the two the last time out. In the habit, in the mood, but not that time able to break through. Hezrakani. If there is to be that spark of innovation, likely to come from him as he doubles over after a long chase. An hour gone. Real Monarchs have been a passenger so far. Looks like I am to get the eagle-eyed binoculars out. Jackson Corey is being prepped in the technical area as an attacking infusion for Tacoma Defiance. Roped along, Griffin Dillon finds the backboard that is Brian Sandoval. With a tug of the shirt, will win the whistle and a chance for all those substitutions to be made. It actually is Leo Burney that comes on. He relieves Damian Alvarez at the back, so a change in the back four. That's a bit of a gamble. Hervé Diaz. Things working so well to this point. Tacoma currently in position to claim their first clean sheet of the year. And it's a double swap for Real Monarchs. Looks like Ruben Morales will come on. He's joined by Dominic Barrios. Ruben Morales had an assist in the prior meeting between these two teams. Of course, Jesus Pereira was the one who was the chief practitioner in that result for Real Monarchs last time versus Tacoma Defiance, scoring both goals. Not available today. This is fanciful work with the ball. Suddenly in the rhythm, Real Monarchs, and it's a clean, snapping tackle to steal possession. I guess the immediate answer to how the defensive line will fare, I should say, of Tacoma Defiance. The immediate answer is just fine. Owen Anderson. Still Owen Anderson, He's decleated. It's out for a corner. This portion of the match is brought to you by Western Washington Toyota Dealers. Toyota, let's go places. Sounds like a plan. Real Monarchs will have a chance to go back to level ground ahead of this corner. It's routines. It's rocked away. Omar Marquez. Kobe Henry. Now Monarchs spinning up once more. Toppling in the mid-park. And every advantage to be played with the quick restart. It is the imperative of Real Monarchs if they are to go ahead. Hezrakani has left the ball behind him though. Not the sharpest day from Aiden Hezrakani. Saw that one little flicker early where he fabricated the shot, but nothing since. Not scored Aiden Hezrakani in 7 straight Next Pro matches. 4 goals and 3 assists for him. Out in the wide spaces this year as he receives. Gets right to work. Dominic Barrios. Sprayed between lines. It's Hezrakani now! Aiden Hezrakani! Real Monarchs eye to eye once more, and it's 1-1. All he needs is a crack of daylight. And he breaks the whole thing open in the second half. It took them 66 minutes to get their first shot on target. But it's a bullseye from Aiden Hezrakani. It's a narrow angle. It's a needling strike. And it's even at 1 apiece. San Ness. A new lease on life for Real Monarchs, and you wonder how Tacoma's mentality changes. It had such a tight leash on the game to that point. Sonome leaving little to doubt though. Edson Carly. Sonome draws the woodwork. The second entry from Souza. It somehow stays on. Maybe it didn't. That's how quickly it can happen for Tacoma. Sonome, it's a smart run. Waiting his precious time to arrive at the top of the box and receive. He might get another crack. Ball in from Snyder Brunel. It's a stilting clearance. It's space on the break. And now it's Owen Anderson connecting the dots. Miles centrally. It's a mile-long touch though that ends the move. Carly. Now the game opening up. This is gonna stick up in an awkward area. Sebastian Gomez marauding. Osaze de Rosario! Barred down and out! The finish was devilish. And it just arced at the odd angle. Striking metal and not Pater. There are few so bold to try something like this. First time outside of the boot, chipped on from only maybe 8 yards away. It almost was delightful. But it's nothing more than 1-1. Osaze de Rosario missing the mark. A sentence that is not often said. Osaze de Rosario given a little bit of an interest just at the angle of that ball back. He's still on the charge. Kato Yamada stepping in front. Omar Marquez says, may I have this dance, and gets to work. Owen Anderson, there is a spare man. Anderson goes it himself, and it's blocked. Griffin Dillon now. Real Monarchs finally out of first gear. Marquez stumbling with the ball, spotting Hezrakani, the goal scorer. Hezrakani flies in across Marquez. He did everything but finish. Got himself free. Clean side of target. And the shot is just biteless. Hackles up though. Tacoma Defiance picked apart. Omar Marquez really making things go. The late show on a Thursday night, starting off match week 19. As we hit the third act, things starting to get juicy here in Tukwila. Kato Yamada. Leo Bernie, Castro, and Yamada just trying to get that slack out of the game. Tacoma Defiance. Find that tempo that they had played the game so well at. Bernie breaks the line. Sonome, it's a faulty first touch. And at full pace, Giovanni Calderon arrived on the scene and crushed it out of touch. 70 minutes gone. If there is no point of difference at this stage, it will be to penalties for the second consecutive match in the case of Tacoma. Bernie. San Ness licensed to check in. Instead, it's a rainbowing ball in behind. Sonome waiting on it. It gets free of him. Edson Carley! Passed with precision. A piercing blast from Edson Carley restores the lead. It's 2-1 now. A breaching blow from Tacoma Defiance. Edson Carley makes good, speaks with his chest out. Usunome smart enough to let it go, walk the defender into a compromised position so that Edson Carley could dart one home. That is such a composed bit of finishing from the youngster. The goal comes with a midfielder's touch. Effectively, Edson Carley assisted it into the bottom corner. Will McKay, nothing but a spectator as the ball charted its course. And all is well again in Washington. Omar Marquez fighting off the defender. It was Kato Yamada who followed him all the way up. Trying to cut off that faucet. Marquez has been the central node with the ball for Real Monarchs today. Player in the form of Marquez that has not had more than 4 incomplete passes in his last 6 appearances, making his 5th consecutive start today. As the ball is in a awkward position now, Marquez unable to put the lasso on. Still Marquez feinting and trying to find a way through. He does. Into the center for Owen Anderson, who about faces. And stepping in from the touchline. Real Monarchs on the 1-2. And flushed out of touch by San Ness. It was Ruben Males who is stepping in. Kobe Henry. A stop and a start. Hezrakani's calling for it. His wish is granted. Into the middle. And quick to clips the ball. Tacoma Defiance. Owen Anderson. The chance was created, and Marquez has taken one of the pine branches down with his effort.
In the 74th minute, we have
It's nothing more than a goal kick, and Omar Marquez with the goal gaping once more. Can't connect. Stop in the play at the 74th minute. As a substitution is made, Osase de Rosario, his day is done without the impact he would have hoped for. Looked like Jackson Corey was the one who came on. Very high-minded attacking player. A lot of good creative instinct, and he might get onto something straight away. It's Souza. It's Sonome waiting. It's off the post. Too close for comfort for Real Monarchs. McKay throwing himself Superman style. Unable to connect with the ball, and play is brought back anyway. Confirmation that it is Jackson Corey that comes in. He scored in the last game against Real Monarchs. If he scores again here today, it might be a silencer. Looks like Usman Toure is being prepped just at the hip of the fourth official. There's another change along with them for Real Monarchs. Carly, high off the head. Sonome. Not nearly enough speed to get away. Into the final quarter hour. And Mark Lowry will adjust things one more time. This portion of the match is brought to you by Umpqua Bank, the official banking partner of the Seattle Sounders. Barrios. Owen Anderson. Final product ever elusive. But back with Malas. And Omar Marquez stings the gloves of Jacob Castro, but nothing more than a footnote. Quite literally in this instance, that it was at ankle height. Sousa. He might do it all himself on that note. Gives it away. The responsibility lies with Real Monarchs now. Down a goal. Fought their way back to level. Only in the span of 5 minutes or so to see all that hard work undone. At the end line, and mincing no words is Giovanni Calderon. That stays in play, but well, I was going to say only for a moment, but it has remained in the field, and now it's whistled down. It appears we have hit the hydro break. Substitutions will be made by Real Monarchs. We'll get confirmation on the numbers immediately as Chase Duke, his day is done. That makes the opening. Up top for Real Monarchs. Also see Usman Toure join up here in a moment, but as for how we've arrived at this potentially decisive point of play, the last two goals, these both coming in the half. At this point, 1-0 down. Aiden Hezrakani takes ownership and breaks through the obstacle. He makes it 1-1, but pegged back. That is just a puncturing hit of the ball from Edson Carly. An arrow of straight flight off his foot, and it finds its sweet spot. It sits 2-1 now. There will be discourse and discussion about procedure and how to play this out for both teams. Justin getting the full accounting of what's going on in terms of the players substituted on. We told you Chase Duke has come off. Incoming Ousmane Touré to replace him. He leads the league this year jointly for substitute appearances with 11 on the campaign. And it's Wes Sharpie, the veteran, who replaces Max Jennings, maybe a signal of a shift to a more true back three for Real Monarchs as they try and get all the bodies forward, create that mathematic advantage. Trailing on the scoreboard. Looks like Tacoma Defiance, given the opportunity to think things over, will make another change as well. Charlie Gaffney, more defensively oriented veteran midfielder, comes on to replace Snyder Brunel.
Your Defiance made one substitution just after that hydration.
Bit of a biteless ball, trying to link in Omar Marquez as you hear the dual roar of the on-passing train here at Starfire Stadium. Now Monarchs with every intention to maybe get back on track here. Kobe Henry sliding wide. This is a much different posture from Tacoma. Sitting a little bit deeper now. Something to lose. Hezrakani. Aiden Hezrakani disguising a pass! And it is plowed home! Griffin Dillon finds the mark. A decisive dart. Hezrakani plays provider. And with a whiplashing turn of events, straight out of the hydration break, even for the second time, Real Monarchs find a way back in. And at the starting line, it's a sprint in the final 10 minutes. Aiden Hezrakani, it is some spark that he has. I think that may have actually potentially been Omar Marquez that created that chance. The point remains, Aiden Hezrakani's been great, but flowers where they should belong. And none more deserving than Griffin Dillon, who fired the shot. Hezrakani invading the space, and it will be a throw-in for Real Monarchs, who all of a sudden are 3 sheets to the winds. See if there is a decider now in this final chapter. Real Monarchs in their MLS Next Pro era have never won in this venue outright. Owen Anderson, time to think, time to shoot! Jacob Castro is right and ready. Owen Anderson trying to break through that scoreless drought of his, has not found the back of the net since the season opener. The shot was a little bit rusty. I wonder how Tacoma take this in stride as they must open their gate again. Uncontested to take the ball down is Gaffney, who takes too much time. Hezrakani. And Kobe Henry and McKay. Not taking any chances is Ruben Malas, and it may just come good. Struggling to sort it out. And Dominic Barrios is taken off his footing. Gets away from Ousmane Touré, but comes right back to him. Owen Anderson. And spreading it wide is Griffin Dillon, the goal scorer. Little nifty flick from Hezrakani. Stepping in is Wes Sharpie. It's a throw-in belonging to Real Monarchs. Kobe Henry suddenly, as Real Monarchs in total control. They are the protagonists at this point, as through a calamity in the mid-park, the ball stays live. Bernie moved along into Carly and then Sandness. This is a long and steady build now from Tacoma, just to maybe take a little bit of the sting out of the game. 5 minutes from the end of the 90. There was a hydration break in the half, so there will be a decent amount of stoppage time. That much is likely guaranteed. We told you there would be goals. It took a minute, but it has lived up to the billing, this one between Tacoma and Real Monarchs. There might be more to it. It's a wild game here between Real, or rather I should say Tacoma and the town. Could be more late drama today. Hezrakani saved away by Castro. It was a lunging effort from the goalkeeper, who makes his first real play of the game. Hezrakani will be credited with the assist on the equalizer. Nearly just provided what could have been the winner. But it's a break on. Jackson Corey chasing it down and just taking complete ownership of the ball with his first touch. Gets Tacoma into their attacking patterns. Kingston spots a man running in, and so does McKay. Play is stopped. Wonder why. Is the flag up? Have they given offside? That appears to be the case. There certainly wasn't a foul in the region, so by deduction, feels a logical place to arrive. There's a player down as well. Looks like it might be Peter Kingston who unleashed that pass across field. Fortunately, he is back up to his feet, a player that his manager Hervé Diaz was so glowing in his praise for this week, said that he's just gotten better and better throughout the course of the season, now training quite prevalently with the senior team. Just such a high level of professionalism and will to improve. Peter Kingston, he is able to continue even if it is with a minor hitch in the gate. Turning away from the pressure, Barrios. Into Omar Marquez, who has Toure in front and Castro in front of the play. It's Real Monarchs putting the screws to their opposition. They really didn't have anything to say, and then they scored the goal, and it all opened up. Despite getting hit back to fall behind 2-1. They have been up for the fight in this last 30 minutes or so. Toure dropping in on the last shoulder, and he's offside. Despite the fact that Toure has only played that handful of minutes compared to some of his colleagues, Only the one start on the year. He is the team's leader in shots per game, just about 3.5. Everything to indicate that he might be the one who brings the fireworks late on. Kobe Henry, aware of his surroundings, gets the ball off his foot quickly. Maybe less so his teammates. Ball is just narrowly retained by Barrios. That may open some things up. Owen Anderson rambling. Poked away, now Marquez, who wants it more. It ends with Barrios. Spare man on the near side is Malas, who gets in across. It's Shapley, it's down, it's ducked away. It was well delivered by Malas, but requiring maybe just a little bit more, Real Monarchs. Kobe Henry spurs it on once more. Tacoma backed up. Ezra Cunny unable to get free. He is the one who has put his side in their current position. His goal, his assist. It's his free kick, joined by Omar Marquez. The board will pop up in the next minute, reveal exactly how long there is to the end of the line. It's been pretty free-flowing. Can't imagine it's going to be too much. Ever more the reason for Real Monarchs to make it happen now. In by Marquez. Knocked along by Henry. Toure may arrive. He does not. The board will tell all. Play is going to be summoned back as there's a second ball on the field. It's just unfortunate. They let them resume play after it's acknowledged, and with the announcement, it is 3 minutes of stoppage time. Tacoma, a chance to dig it out late on in their home venue. The guy who got it going, Yamada, his pass is clipped away. Just a hopeful hit into space that's going to be recovered by Gaffney. If it doesn't happen in the next 3 minutes, it will be kicks from the mark and a point shared at least. Winner taking just that little bit extra. Real Monarchs need all the points they can get as they enter today in 11th place in a tightly contested Western Conference. Kobe Henry, a bit of a whiff. Can he atone? He's had such a good game today as he pins the ball in the corner. It's a throw-in for Tacoma. In the smoldering embers of a wild second half, Tacoma prepped the long throw. Muscled into the box, Sonome! Rather, that was actually Kaito Yamada again. And the arc of the shot is at the wrong angle. Off that of Toure, off the foot of Bernie. Into the last 60 seconds after 91 minutes, now 92. Space to drive, Barriosin. Back into Calderon. Malas dicing with danger. Kobe Henry spots a man in a pocket. And it's one back by Tacoma. Sonome goes first time. That's brilliant. Curry's running. And just stepping in is Wes Sharpie. Brings that cool head to the scene. A switch of points. Needed more slope. Sebastian Gomez wriggling. Sonome heading. Gomez back onto it. Wide man is there, it's Gaffney. Body's in the box. Gaffney unable to find the space for a shot. Sam Nass, his shot is blocked by a teammate, and they will not allow it to go any further. 93 minutes precisely, and there's nothing between Tacoma Defiance and Real Monarchs as all is said and done. It will be penalties to decide this one. We'll come to you with that here in a moment. The score as it sits, 2-2. There will be points earned by either side on the day. Who will get the extra one? We will answer that question when we return.
Action.
At the end of regulation, since the teams are tied on the scoreboard, the match will extend to a shootout, with each team having 5 attempts. If the teams are tied after 5 attempts, they will go to sudden death. The shootout winner will receive an extra point in the regular season standings.
These sides find themselves in the shootout again. Real Monarchs, Tacoma Defiance. It was the case the last time they found each other on this ground last year. It will be the case again. Real Monarchs will have a chance to get the extra point and play the role of bandit on the road. They have been in the shootout as much as anybody this year, realistically. This will be their 6th time as they stare down the barrel from 12 yards. Goalkeeper Will McKay will face off against Jacob Castro to see if there's a decisive role between the pipes. The goals from the game, there were 4 of them shared evenly just inside the end of the first half. It would be Kaito Yamada arriving in style at the back stick to stick it home. That was the only goal in the first half, 3 of them in the second. The first coming from Aiden Hezrakani as he breaks out of his goalless slump. It was his first in 8 games, including this one. Yusunome, the heads-up play to allow Edson Carley to pop up in the pivotal moment. He made it 2-1, but then late on in the half, just finding that soft spot, Griffin Dillon, and he finds a spot for the ball in the back of the nets. So 2-2 is where it lands, and Tacoma Defiance retains their unbeaten run. It will be 3 on the skip for them in that department. Real Monarchs able to snap out of a 2-game skid, as they had lost each of the last 2 to St. Louis City 2 and Minnesota United 2. They would feel much better heading back to Utah with the extra point in hand. Both sides, the points are premium. Western Conference so closely packed. And as we move all attention to the penalty box, it will be Owen Anderson who starts things off. Jacob Castro in goal. Can't be more than a 3 or 4 step run up for Owen Anderson, the 17-year-old. Owen Anderson off the post. It could not be left within a closer margin. If it's a square post, that ball probably finds the back of the net. But fate is a cruel mistress today. It runs parallel to the goal line and somehow stays out. And the advantage can be confirmed by Yusunome, who hit the winner in the shootout last time out against the Town. Tacoma scored all 5 of their penalties on that occasion. One of the leading goal getters in this division, called upon to really confirm things in this first round. Yusunome cleared for takeoff. McKay in front. Sonome! It speaks for itself and speaks so loudly. Yusunome with pause and power. You see the hesitation, the goalkeeper on his toes. Does not really ever at any point telegraph his dive, but Yusunome does not much care. The penalty is perfect, and it is 1-0 Tacoma. Things could get awful dire here if Aiden Hezrakani can't deliver. Hezrakani does. It was a deep breath, and everything after that was automatic. Castro the wrong way. And it is, for the time being, even again at 1-1 in the shootout. 2-2 in the game. Hezrakani decides to just get on with it. He's played his part today, a goal, an assist. He converts his penalty, and now it belongs to Sebastian Gomez. Up out of the academy. Gomez, a do-si-do, a delivery, it's saved, it spills in. Talk about a bad break for Will McKay. It turns towards Tacoma, as it is a poor penalty, but hit with just enough speed and power so that McKay cannot blunt it entirely. Omar Marquez in a position where he must come through. 2-1 Tacoma. Marquez up to it. The goalkeeper never had a chance. Just a wall pass. Instead, though, it finds the back of the net and evens things at 2-2 in the shootout. Goalkeeper signaled to his left, started to lean that direction, and by the time he realized his mistake, it was all over. And Edson Carley, who scored the second for Tacoma, standing at an odd angle, making eye contact. Edson Carley with lift and grace. It's 3-2 now, Tacoma have connected on their last 5 penalty shootout attempts dating back to their last game against the Town. I should say 8 now. It's not a have-to-have-it moment, but it effectively is. Ruben Males. Males! Less is more. It's a simple penalty. But Ruben Males draws even. Just took that hard-charging plant step. Lifted that left leg and really did not once more leave the goalkeeper much chance to intervene. That's Travian Souza now. If he scores, it's within touching distance for Tacoma. Souza! Sends the keeper the wrong way. Real Monarchs feel the ropes at their back. This is high-level work from the penalty spot. That's the long walk to step to the mark for Griffin Dillon, who equalized the game at 2-2. Can he equalize the shootout at 4-4? Castro in his way. Griffin Dillon! Never a doubt, at least in his own mind. And the pressure reapplied to Tacoma. Was at a savable height, but the goalkeeper sent in the wrong vicinity, and it belongs to Peter Kingston to ice it. He's the one who has the captain's armband now. He is the one who has the spotlight. McKay in front of him. Peter Kingston. For Tacoma, Defiance! It's saved! McKay got such a good reading of that. As a penalty taker, that's where you're instructed to put the ball. And it matters not. McKay with the anticipation, heads it off. He was almost a foot off the line by the time the ball landed at his gloves, but stayed on the line until it was kicked. And on we go. Kobe Henry now. Well, Monarchs can take the lead in the shootout. Kobe Henry comes good. They've turned it all around. They did it in regulation. They're doing it in the shootout. Castro bewildered once more. And Charlie Gaffney faces real peril for the first time for Tacoma today. He is the aggressor. He must score. McKay saves it again! Will McKay wills his side to the extra points. The dive was so good, it almost caught him off guard. But Will McKay, having conceded twice on the day, had enough at the end. And Tacoma taken down on their home patch. Real Monarchs make their way back to Utah with wide smiles. Full-time highlights from Starfire Sports Complex. Aiden Hezrakani is the man of the match. He provided many of the highlights on the day. A goal, an assist, both leveling the game. His penalty, true and pure. He writes the headlines, and Real Monarchs write another result in their favor. Aiden Hezrakani, the man of the match for Real Monarchs on the road. For our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, I'm Peyton Geller. Once again, our final score, 2-2 in the game. Real Monarchs win it on penalties, 5-4 through the heroics of their goalkeeper, Will McKay. Don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLS Season Pass on Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. Folks, we'll talk to you soon. Good night.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.